What's up, KBA squad? This is Last Shelter, and today we're going to talk about those all new exciting heroes that always drop in the off season. They make up Season X hero number 29 and 30, and they are Flare, Vincent, and Cyclone CANACE? Don't know, but those are the two new heroes that we're going to talk about today. Really exciting. I've kind of been waiting on making sure their skills are officially finalized, confirmed, and now that they have been available in some of the younger states. But since they aren't yet available for us to get our hands on here in State 847, I'll share some of my thoughts on how I think they fared this season compared to previous seasons. Which one out of the two I think is going to give you a bit more bang for your buck in terms of the overall quality, power, skills, and formation synergy. And also my thoughts on how you can look to hero reconstruct abilities for both Flare and Cyclone. So really excited, and I'm sure a lot of you are looking forward to that. Now this is going to be my final gaming video on my main One Tech Traveler channel, so make sure if you haven't yet already, subscribe to my dedicated all gaming channel, Phoenix Plays, where you'll find Last Shelter in the playlist and all of the nitty-gritty going on there. I've been a little bit IMA since I've had a few things going on, but you'll start to see much more gaming content flowing through there. And of course, you can always check out my website at onetechtraveler.com for everything around tech, travel, and gaming. Now, if you're looking to build up your super tickets for the new Essex heroes Flare and Cyclone, then you'll be glad to know it is a cumulative event this weekend. It's running from now until the end of the weekend, September 12th. So make sure you click the link down below for the campaign offer that's going to take you to this page. We have a new added timer so you can see how long this offer is valid for. You're going to get 30% Huawei points back on your first 3 purchases, and then any additional purchases after that, you're going to get 15%. This can really save you a lot of money and give you extra value that you can redeem Huawei points for other packs you might want to purchase. Make sure you pick up this month's loyalty rewards coupons in the Game Center app. Any packs you bought before will automatically level your Huawei ID account up, and you can collect these coupons in the Game Center app. You can redeem against any of the cumulative event purchases on top of the Huawei points cashback. As you unlock these additional tier rewards, these super tickets, polymer crystals, war badges, hero tokens, and then further down even more stacks of super tickets, war badges, and so forth. So if you are looking to max any of the lower or higher tiers in cumulative, either going through the small packs or just going straight in and maxing out those double diamond rewards. Got €1.65 of Huawei points. All right, that's one. Let's go for the next one. And we can collect the second tier. And then Project Hero, some of the best value. There we go. You'll find the campaign offer linked in the video description and as my pinned comment, so you can take advantage of it, and also instructions of how you can register a Huawei ID account and set it to the correct and specific regions so that you can see the offers inside the game. Alright, so let's talk about the new Essex heroes Flare and Cyclone, who make up number 29 and 30 in the roster. Flare and Cyclone I think are going to be okay, but not great in terms of meta changing or like garrison breakers, or just really shaking up the formations and combos that we have seen previously. They're going to add or bring some heroes back into relevance that you can use a bit better. I see Flare as an alternative somewhat to Scarlet Siren, but not as a replacement for her, especially if you are lacking her in a Dawn and Scorpion formation. He doesn't have any combat skills, which means you aren't going to take advantage of Scorpion's troop recovery block and damage reduction effect. He plays a burning status effect, which is quite interesting, and has a direct damage. But overall, while he could shake things up a little bit, I think he's hitting around the mid tier or slightly higher, but definitely not one of the top APC builders. Similar tune with Cyclone. I think you're going to get more versatility with her. She does run vehicle troops and is more normal attack minded, so you're going to get a bit more versatility out of her to use Captain Ivanov, Death Rider, Huntress and Nomad. She is more of a polished version of Panther, or I guess an Essex version, because a lot of her skills are focused around the first 3 rounds. She is technically a support hero, but the extra damage frequency and output potential I think makes her very suitable for force tiling. Whether she'll be better than Panther, who knows, but with some of the new elements that the Last Shelter devs have introduced into the gameplay mechanics, including hero reconstructions and Flare and Cyclone's skills that have some influence aspect to it, we'll dive into shortly, then I wouldn't be surprised if a force tiling during the seasons is going to be a bit more difficult to let Cyclone sort of stand out a bit more from her S2 compatriot Panther. They definitely don't stack up to last season's heroes Dawn and Scorpion, who were crazy good in really amping up troop recovery block, and as a successor to Wrath with devastating efficiency, and then Dawn just being a super versatile and very capable healer that just makes her and just the overall APC very tough to deal with. So those two last season were definitely the showstoppers, and Flare and Cyclone sadly aren't able to deliver to the same tune, but they offer something different. Lust and Retrograder, I think while Lust has been very limited in her APC combos, she at least had some good synergy with Scorpion, and also still makes a very solid TP and Wrath formation, so that can kind of sit in the combos, whereas Retrograder has always been that focused healer that was able to withstand those high damage combos, and currently makes up a formation with Heavens and Death Rider if he's not being used in the Scorpion Dawn formation. We then had Prophet and Huntress, which I think was okay, kind of siding more towards Huntress in terms of her effectiveness. That still runs the Ana and Predator. I think Cyclone is going to help there in some aspects, and then Flare giving more fighter options. So first up, let's start off with Flare. His best ability arguably is Fire of Annihilation. I swear they kind of have similar skill names with other heroes, but this is his Burning State effect, which effectively brings 1 or 2 enemy squads to that burning state every round, so I like the guaranteed nature of it. Still an additional 350% damage, whereas Scarlet Sirens was more of a plus 60% combat skill extra damage. When they are in a burning state, he actually deals just more direct damage. His Flare Blade is a direct hit. 250% to 1 enemy squad is okay, but nothing to write home about. And then Burning Armor is the interesting skill that they're kind of introducing this season. We get a little bit of a damage reduction, minus 25%, which is minimal, not too much, but it's okay. The other part, however, as he absorbs damage, it kind of builds up his might effect, so we get an additional 30% until the end of battle, and that stacks up to 10 layers. Based on that, then we could look at up to 300% might, which is huge. Now this is going to be very interesting because even okay APCs with crazy high might or resistance attributes, especially during Eden season through the honor buildings, they can do some serious damage. So Flare is going to be a nice way you can kind of reach those numbers if you aren't able to tune those honor buildings or fortresses to high effect based on composites. But even if you do have those honor buildings that are leveled up higher with Flare, then we could see some crazy numbers where they reach over 1,300 during the game. This is influenced by his resistance, so that's the new thing this season with the heroes. In the battle reports, depending on whether your resistance is higher than the enemies, then it does say the skill effects improve, whereas if it's lower, then they will be reduced. It's not clear to what extent this influence actually impacts the hero, whether it's just this particular skill, burning armor, or whether it's all of them, and how much higher it improves or decreases. There's no indication on that, so we'll have to see in the reports. But generally, Flare is okay. I would sit him lower than Siren. He still has his burning state. You get some hero synergy options, but not that much on the burning state at the moment. Of course, you can play him with Scarlet Siren. I think that will work well, but you may not want to take her away from that top APC with Dawn and Scorpion. You can also play him with Venom Walker, the Knight, Executioner, and Inquisitor as a mixed option, playing heavily on that burning, or even with Hunk as the front. You can play a Flare pretty much anywhere, since he's kind of got high direct damage. Position wise, he's not restricted, but I definitely see Flare more in a fighter formation than in a mix of what you can get out of him. I'll be interested to see how, say maybe if you want to throw in a CANACE and then put him with Siren, or if you want to go all offense formation, having him with Prophet and Siren, or Prophet with CANACE, Glutton. That'll be interesting, but again, none of those are really going to be challenging the top formations. And next up we have Cyclone, a support vehicle hero, but she does provide a lot of damage frequency and output potential, so I do see her giving some good damage options. Again, I kind of said she's more of a refined, I kind of said she's more of an SX version of Panther, and you see that reflected in some of her skills. Wins will prep first 3 rounds, all allies scores damage for normal and passive skills plus 80%. Meanwhile, 100% chance to deal damage to enemies regardless of dodging state. So here you can see there's kind of 2 counters to the latter. So this is a counter to Heaven's Redemption and his high dodging ability, and to an extent Vanguard, but she's not as relevant. And then the second is the Hopeness Lab ability that adds evasion in the first 2 or 3 rounds. This is also going to be a counter to that. The other part is very similar to Panther's, but there's no like damage reduction as you go by in the later turns. So this is a very nice 80% buff, normal attack and passive skills, and also can play nicely with the self buffs of Death Rider, Ivanov, or Nomad. We get the typical resistance and might on skill 3 and 4. Skill 5, Flow and Blow. First 3 rounds, again like Panther and Valkyrie. 80% chance for ally squads to launch a mass attack, dealing 260% damage to 2 squads besides the target in normal attacks. Similar tune to a splash or a counter of, say, a Kamikaze. In the first 3 rounds, again, I like the high chance, and the damage is also pretty good. In terms of overwhelming a formation, especially if it's adding counters or suppression, this frequency is going to be very helpful. Howling Wind, after normal attack, 100% chance or guaranteed to deal 300% damage to an enemy squad with the lowest troop count, and 80% chance to deal an additional 25% damage. So you get a little bit more frequency and a little bit more damage. I like the guaranteed nature of this, but again, she is a support hero, so she's going to amp up the damage dealers, but also the frequency that herself and the rest of them do. Her Awaken is a plus 100 vehicle combat speed, which is interesting, so you can get some crazy high numbers if you are pairing her with Major Anastasia, but yeah, you get good flexibility. So in terms of hero synergy, it's kind of easy to see. Cyclone with Major Anastasia and Ivanov. You can even try Panther, Cyclone, Huntress, Captain Ivanov, Nomad, Death Rider, adding the additional splash encounter, so that would actually be very interesting. More for like force tiling, but it'll be interesting as a high damage APC. She will play well in vehicle only or mixed combos with normal attack heroes, so like with Nomad, Predator. You can have Koshé in there if you want, Rose Noir. There's a lot more versatility, I would say, you get with Cyclone than with Flare. I think there's going to be some situations where she could prove useful, especially amping up Huntress, who needs a lot of that support, and also Nomad kind of bring him up, since as a damage dealer, or the combos that you can run him in is kind of lower down the pecking order. So I think Cyclone can really give some morale boost to the less used heroes, to the less used but still very strong heroes. And it just can simplify things. If you, for example, you don't have Predator, then you can run her in the Huntress formation. Now, can you play Cyclone and Flare together? Yes. How effective will they be? Not sure. A Flare would be better off in a burning state type of combo. You're not gonna get much more from him, and there are just better vehicle heroes that take advantage of Cyclone more, like Huntress. Not that much synergy or relevance between Flare and Cyclone compared to the others, but of course they can pair in with the other top heroes from previous seasons well too. So Dawn of course can be flexible in any of them. I think Dawn would be better suited with Flare, but overall for Season X number 29 and 30, it's okay. I would probably give them a 7, and I'd edge it more towards Cyclone than Flare. Cyclone then Flare. I don't think they're going to be replacing some of the top APC formation or heroes, because they're just quite different. I'll be curious to see how the influence piece might add some spice to the battle reports. But overall, you are looking at maybe a more upgraded version of Panther that could give you a bit more efficiency in force tiling and also some combat performance, but it's not going to be that much more. For hero reconstructions, I would increase her might, since that will help influence for Wynn's will. You can also give the group might version. She is a support hero and more around normal attacks, and while it might be helpful to give her greed or temporary preparedness or efficient treatment for some healing, since you're probably not going to run her in a healing type of formation, you could also just give her Reaper's Scythe that increases the troop damage from normal attacks. For Flare, I believe there's a new Hopeness Lab ability that increases burning damage, so that will help his skill 5 influenced by resistance, so you probably want to give him resistance for the normal. And then in terms of abilities, besides burning, you probably get good healing coverage from other fighters in this combo. Then you might want to Full of Vigor, which is going to drastically increase his might, or Potential Unleashed, which gives plus 100% to his might and resistance if his troop count is halved. So those are the new Essex heroes. What are your thoughts, KBA squad? Sound off in the comments down below. Again, this is my final video on my main YouTube channel. You'll find all future Last Shelter videos, as well as other things that I'm playing on my dedicated gaming channel, Phoenix Plays. So make sure you subscribe and get notified on that channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Again, check out my website at onetechtraveler.com for new hero profiles coming your way. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, keep being awesome. Peace. Yeah.